they moved the buttons around in the update.
No, I haven't updated this yet, and I probably should.
Okay.
But we are on.
Hi!
We're going to stick with the one camera shot again, folks, because they still haven't fixed the one that faces Eric, and one of these days I'll do that. Poor Eric. We're going to see the backside again. It's your best side, it's all good. You've been working out, I can tell.
No, you can just get nice reflective shine, do a lens flare.
Okay.
You know what we need to do is get some Google guys and put in the back.
That would be good. Just shake my head every once in a while.
And what do I sound like I'm in a tunnel?
Yeah, it kind of sounds like that to me too, but oh.
I'm working on it.
No, we needed to have like Miss Potato Pieces in the back of your head, so it's like you can rearrange it.
We're talking now, Gary. Not helpful, Gary.
Oh, no? Okay.
Yeah, he's on, I hear him well now.
Now it's better.
I knew he was going to do it.
Killing me. Okay, here we go. You guys ready?
Volume level down.
Yep.
Yes. I look at you and do this.
I'll back off.
Thank you. Okay, here we go. Hey folks, welcome to this episode of the GalaxyCast. It's episode 232. I have with me
4
people in the studio. It's so weird to hear 4 from him. I have with me Eric the artist.
Niku is secretly a psychopath.
I have with me Austin the numpty.
Hi.
Wow, that was just a blank space. And I have Gary the stud.
I think that's me.
And I am Bob Crispin, your pseudo-host, as it were. So we're going to start our podcast tonight by talking about some things that have come out. One that made me Fat Man Dance, which is the announcement of Kit Harrington as Marvel's Black Knight. We're then going to talk about the trailer for the Joker. It's the final trailer, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And then we're going to talk about the trailer number 2 for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
This one came out at D23.
Okay, so let's talk first about the one thing that I went frickin' bonkers about in my house. I think everybody in the immediate block knew the announcement when it happened because I ran around my house, the block, my shop out back, the pool, maybe a couple trees out back. I was like, oh my god, they announced the Black Knight, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Yeah.
For everyone at home, he's not joking, but it was also the fact of the matter that my mother and I were at the house and you hear this scream and we go run into the room thinking he cut his finger off and he's Fat Man dancing. They're making the Black Knight, they're making the Black Knight. It's like, what the...
It was bad. I went freaking bonkers.
And my mother just looks at him and goes, Robert,
what is wrong with you? She's like, what is wrong with you? And I gotta admit, it's not just the fact that they announced that they're using the Black Knight, which I'm excited about all in and of itself. That's cool. And for those people who don't know, I am one of the few people, probably on the whole East Coast, that cosplays as the Black Knight.
Not for long.
Probably not for long. But I do want to say this. I'm the first. I will always be the first.
He's one of the first.
I was actually I was so honored that the Super Alliance of Western New York accepted my Black Knight costume. I was so excited about that. And now I kind of feel like, okay, now I'm really vindicated because he's going to be in the MCU.
And they're using the Dane Whitman comic. I know there's different people.
They are, yeah. They're using the Dane Whitman version, which, if they're sticking with the style of Dane Whitman, that's technically the one I based my costume off of. So party wants to be like, Disney, hire me, I'll help you out. I got to figure it out.
Well, you know that they're going to go through. They're going to... Marvel MCU.
They're gonna stylize it. I guarantee they will.
The MCU every costume has that touch of feel to it, and they're gonna do it to that too.
But what I'm excited about, I wasn't just excited about the fact that Black Knight got cast. It was who they decided to cast as the Black Knight, and it's the fact that they picked Kit Harrington of all people. And I remember when they announced that Kit Harrington was playing a character in the Eternals. And everybody was speculating all these
Icarus.
Crazy Icarus. Yeah, everybody thought he would be Icarus and all these other. Moon Knight was another one that was rumored that he might play the role of. And then when it came out that he's the Black Knight, I was kind of like, whoa, wait a minute. I gotta admit, when they said it and then they said it's in the Eternals movie, I was kind of like, wait a minute, what's the connection between the Black Knight and Eternals? I had to go look that one up myself, and I'm actually a pretty stout guy when it comes about information about the Black Knight. And I totally forgot that the Black Knight had a romance with, who is the girl on the Eternals that...
Gary?
The one played by Angelina Jolie now?
Yes.
Why do I want to say, Isis?
Yes, you're right. It was Isis. Thank you. I was trying to remember. Thank you.
Because I know they're all
just shooting in the
they're all
dark.
the classic names of
Yep.
characters from
Right. She was one of the classic Eternals.
Yeah.
Apparently, for a long while, Dane Whitman and Isis were an item. I did not know that, but it all happened. And here's where it all happened in the Eternals comics, and I didn't collect the Eternals all that much. And now all of a sudden, I'm like, man, I gotta go find some Eternals comics but they're gonna go up in price now.
Yeah,
Just
I'll have to
because
bring
of
out.
this.
I have the 12-issue limited series.
Do you really?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
I'll have to bring it out and see if I remember any of it.
Yeah, because apparently
Because I
there's-
wasn't a huge fan of the Eternals, but back in the 80s, I collected, for about 6 years, I collected everything.
Right.
So from that classic time period of 84 to 90,
Mhm.
I have almost complete runs of everything.
Could you scroll down, please?
Sure. Yeah. Sorry, my screen was getting stuck.
All right,
so-
stop right there.
Yes.
Get a history of Cersei.
Oh,
Circe.
Circe.
Ah.
Circe.
Okay, thank you.
I wanted to say Circe, and then I thought, no, wait, that's...
And
Played by Gemma Chan.
Right.
I thought
Okay.
that was... Okay. So not Isis.
Right, not Isis. Sorry, I apologize. So Circe. But
Circe.
still, just I didn't even know there was a connection there at all, ever.
Now, if you do a Google image search of Marvel's Black Knight, you will get quite a different array of characters and costume design. For anyone who wants to go look at them, there's some interesting ones. There's a concern I have that they'll do the lightsaber one that you have concerns about.
Well, what I find interesting, the hint that Feige has been giving since they've started this is he is going to be an Avenger. Feige actually has said that on several different interviews, which means we're now talking about a new round of Avengers movies. So that's not happening in Phase 4. That's pretty obvious. So the question now that a lot of Marvel's fans have is that Phase 5, Phase 6? Like, how far away is the next Avengers grouping? And who will it be? Because, I mean, when you start talking about Black Knight, that's not necessarily the typical new Avengers. You know, like, Black Knight was around when, like, She-Hulk was in the Avengers. And,
Yep.
like, I'm trying to remember the grouping.
I have a whole collection of Avengers with Black Knight in them.
Yeah, I do too.
Wonder Man was, I think, part of the team
Yep.
for a little while. Star Fox was on the
Yep.
team for a little while
Black
at that
Panther
time.
was.
Black Panther was. Cap came in and out at that time.
Right, because Black Knight led them when Cap left for a long while, and then Cap came back and led them again.
I think Dr. Druid
I think you're
was
right.
with them at that time.
Yep.
Dr. Druid.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember.
there's a character named Dr. Druid. Look him up.
I know I have a hero clip of him. I just don't know.
I
If he,
can't
I thought he was
remember
a
who
villain
else.
of
Was
Strange.
Tigra part of that group?
Oh, I think so.
I
Right
believe
before
so.
she left to join the West Coast Avengers, the Hawkeye
Right.
started.
It was just before that split
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
The West Coast Avengers. And
Yeah,
that
there's some
weird,
classic John Byrne comics that I
Yeah.
have that he was drawing, I think, at the time, and
Was this
it
around?
was really good.
I love those comics just because of the coloring in it. Like, there was something about the coloring and the way they did that, and it was just really cool.
I even feel like he was with them when the Kree Skrull crossover happened
Yes.
that summer, and they did
Yep.
because I remember they did that split cover
Mm-hmm.
that was the Fantastic Four and the Avengers, and it was shown from a tear in the wall. And when you looked at the one cover, it was the view the Fantastic Four had, and when you viewed the other, it was the view the Avengers had.
yep.
And they met up. And I think
In
he
the
was with the
middle.
Avengers at the time.
You're right,
I
he was.
think.
He was, because I actually had that comic book.
Yeah.
He absolutely was.
This was.
And then I'm pretty sure he was also involved with the Kang series. When,
I
when
think
Kang
he
the
might have
Conqueror first showed up. I'm pretty sure, which I'm kind of sitting here going, we're talking about all these things that are being set up in Phase 4 between the Eternals and all these other intergalactic things we're talking about. Kang could be part of that. That Kree Skrull conflict is already set up in Captain Marvel. So all these things are kind of clicking for me where I'm like, they could potentially be following that kind of series, which
Right.
is cool. I mean, like, I don't know. It could be really cool. I don't know. I'm just hoping.
They draw a lot from that wellspring of the
They really
mid to
do.
late '80s.
Yeah.
It was really peak comic time.
It was.
Was that,
I mean,
was that silver or golden?
We talked the fact that what was it, '85 was the year both Watchmen and Dark Knight came out. The same
Right.
year. I mean, you're talking two of the seminal collections
Right.
of stories ever, and they were like same year. It was a huge time period for comics, and they also were drawing from the '90s a bit with like Civil War and all that. 'Cause I remember
Yeah.
that was like Mike Turner time, and all,
Yeah.
that was before 2000. And then, of course, they're drawing some from the Ultimates. Now, I saw recently, in fact, just today, that someone said the Ultimate Avengers might appear in the MCU. And I'm wondering if that means you get a Captain America, you get a Thor, you get an Iron Man, but they can be played by different actors because of the snap. They come from the not 616 universe.
Right, they go from a different.
You get the Ultimates, and you can do it. But the problem was that the Captain America in the MCU looked a lot like the Ultimate Captain America because he had when you first saw him, he had the helmet, he had the look, you know. So it's like, but I could see where they could do that, and it'd be a way of keeping those characters but recasting.
Sure. Well, like I said, thanks to Ant-Man and the idea that we can play with time now and universes, this multiverse concept, it could be a good deal.
You could throw in a Lionel from that because that could be...
Well, I think eventually we're going to get him as a villain when too much is happening with multiverses. When there's a lot of crossover and things meeting up, you're going to get Annihilus showing up going, you've drawn my attention, and he'll be a big bad at some point.
I think before you get to Annihilus, Galactus has to be the first one, and then Annihilus, I think, has to come almost shortly thereafter.
And might as well throw out the rumor that I recently heard about who's being cast as possible Galactus.
Who's that?
Liam Neeson.
Now,
I'm guaranteeing you they're doing that for the voice.
I was going to say just the voice.
For the voice alone,
if you've seen the movie, what is it? The Monster, or he plays a movie where he plays the monster.
Okay.
It's based on a book, and his voice is just so deep and so gravelly. And it'll be a Thanos performance. It'll be a motion capture, completely generated with using the voice. I can see that. I mean, there's no guarantee. Rumors right now are flying like crazy.
They are totally flying like crazy.
Would you think they'd do that helmet like they do out of the comic?
They better. It's classic. It has to.
There's certain characters I think you can't play. Like Black Knight, you've got 25 options for a costume. But then Galactus, I've only ever seen Galactus drawn one way.
I mean, I've seen variations on that look.
Right, yeah.
But
nothing too out of the box.
No, it always flows back to that look.
Yeah, it's in the helmet is iconic.
His silhouette
the silhouette
is very iconic.
Okay.
I didn't know they were going to go towards like maybe taking away the helmet and doing more of just a huge creature because
I hope
nowhere's supposed to be the head of one of the guys.
They did that with. He was the Cloud thing in the Fantastic Four movie where you briefly saw the silhouette at the very end. But in the Ultimate Universe, Galactus was a collective. It was a race. It was like all insects or something.
Yeah.
And it would. They were like thousands of them that lived with a collective mind, and they'd go through and devour planets. And that was their approach. And I'm like, I didn't like that. I
don't see Disney jumping into that concept either. I really don't.
Okay.
Gary, what do you think of this idea of Black Knight, Eternals? I mean, does this make you want to go see the movie more?
Me? Not really.
Because I know you weren't a huge Eternals fan to begin with.
Honest.
He really is. That's why I love Gary. I mean, I know you weren't a huge Eternals fan anyway, right? Like, you're not really into the Eternals. And so this really still wouldn't necessarily twist your mind about going into and watching that.
No, just because Kit Harrington's playing him and Richard Band's in it, who cares?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of curious if that changed your mind.
I don't have any interest in it right now.
Right.
Until I see something.
I gotta admit,
speaking of seeing
I want to see costumes and I want to see previews.
Bring up Eternals concept art.
Okay.
Because they've shown some, and it's the Celestials. Apparently the Celestials, obviously they created the Eternals, just like they created the Deviants. Right there is the first one. These are some concept arts of the Celestials. And they're kind of cool. Now, we saw the Celestials for the first time in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. We saw very clear shots of them.
They showed some clear shots.
These are a little more stylized, but I think they're pretty cool looking. They're clearly, epically huge and
well, they're supposed to be. They're supposed to have that.
But now, if you go by date, they just showed a new one. It was time. Due past week. There was an image. There it is. Like fourth one over.
Oh.
This is a new official Eternals concept art, and that is staring at a planet.
Right.
That's how big that Celestial is. So
Why has it got 4
They
eyes?
are playing. That one is actually from the comics. If you look up the art, it's a fair. I think it's a newer one. Mm-hmm. But seeing that makes me think that the scale of the Celestials, and for those who obviously do a search, everyone for Eternals concept poster or something, and do a recent search date, it'll show up. It's something that was shared from D23, and that gets me excited for the scale I think they're going to go for with this. I think it's going to be bigger than like Guardians of the Galaxy type universe hopping. This is going to be about the history of the universe in the Marvel Cinematic Universe leading up to these Eternals.
Now, because I don't know much about the Eternals, do they fight the Celestials, or are they created by these?
They're created by the Celestials, and the Deviants were created by the Celestials. And the Eternals and the Deviants are what fought more. Celestials are on a power scale that
nobody can touch.
Galactus fought them.
Okay.
Galactus fought them
like Watcher level
in
kind of
Earth
stuff.
X, and of course the Beyonder fought them in Secret Wars 2.
Of course.
Things like that. They're the only characters that are on that power level. Other than that, the Eternal or the Celestials are just beyond all.
Okay.
They judge. They basically help planets. They're kind of like the High Evolutionary in a way. They kind of start life, and then they come back and they judge the planet and how it's doing, and basically make a decision whether the planet should continue or not.
Similar to like Ronin, who will accuse planets and then.
Yeah, but Ronin's only an individual
I get.
with an army. This is huge.
What wasn't Galactus like a Celestial himself?
He wasn't. No.
So he was a tool by them then.
No, they didn't use him.
No, I thought they gave him the planet so that after they judged and stuff, he was like the destroyer of the.
No, because it was revealed in Thor that their judgment doesn't destroy the planet. Their judgment passes over, wipes clean technology, and resets them back to a primitive state to try again. That was the secret they gave away in like Thor 300 or something like that, or somewhere in there. Because the first time we ever saw the Celestials, they came to judge Earth, and they judged it worthy. After this whole like 4-issue series, and Thor fought them. Then Thor ran into them on a different planet in a later issue, might have been 400, and you got to actually see they judged that planet not worthy, and you got to actually see what judgment looked like. It wasn't destruction; it was a resetting. So, but then Galactus comes along and kind of ruins it for him and destroys things. He consumes. So Galactus, like I said, if you ever look up Earth X, he fought the Celestials.
Okay.
And it was pretty interesting.
The one thing I do hope they do with this Eternals movie, I mean, beyond the fact that the Black Knight's in there, which I do have some concerns, I'll talk about those in a minute, I sure hope they take the time to explain the Celestials and the role they're playing. You know what I mean? Like, if we just jump into, and there's the Celestials, boom.
Well, I think you're going to get
I hope there's some sort of backstory there, you know?
I almost wonder if they'll do it almost 2001-ish, where your first, 15 minutes of the movie or so is going to be the lead-in of the universe and the primordial ooze and the Celestials and the creation and everything, and it gets to the Eternals, and then here we come with the modern storytelling, and we've got all that backstory. I wonder if they'll almost take that kind of approach.
Because this whole thing's going to be almost like a giant reset button from Phase 3. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, when you look at Eternals, it's really the first movie that's not going to have any sort of connection to anything else.
Let's see.
You know what I mean?
We've got
Black Widow, which still has the connection.
Is next summer.
Right.
And then was Eternals immediately following that? Was that next one?
I'm pretty sure before it was the next... No, the next Guardians got pushed back. So, yeah, it would be the next one would be Eternals. So I'm pretty sure. If it's not, it's Shang-Chi.
Oh, it might be.
What I think, Bob, is that the Eternals is going to be a prequel to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because you got the head from...
yeah, the one Eternal...
Nowhere.
Oh yeah, so you might actually find out how Nowhere got created and all that. The whole Eternals
movie
movie
be a great way to roll it in,
might be
right?
like 1,000 years before the cinema. It could be. That's actually probably a good approach.
So that brings me to the Black Knight story, because they're using the Dane Whitman Black Knight, which means they're Black Knight. For those people that don't know, and I probably know more than I ever should know about one character in my life, but I researched it because I wanted to know. The Black Knight was actually several characters over a course of thousands of years. Merlin actually created the sword
called the Ebony
Blade, and it was wielded by a knight, and he hid it, and then it was found again and again and again, and it was passed off from person to person. But the problem with the blade is it's cursed. So as powerful as the blade is, it also curses the wielder, and it makes them do bad things over time. So initially they are heroic usually, and then it's a fight. They have an internal conflict quite a bit, and quite often lose the internal conflict to wanting to do bad things, bloodlust type things, stuff like that. I hope they keep that, because I think that's the cool part of the Ebony Blade. It's not just some powerful sword. There's a trade-off with it. And one of my concerns too is that I hope they keep the Dane Whitman backstory, which is an interesting backstory because he's like the fourth generation removed of Perseus, who was the original guy who wielded the sword and all sorts of crazy stuff. And if they don't keep that, I don't know. It's going to be... And that's where, like, a lot of people are questioning. There's a lot of a backstory to the Black Knight, because there's just so much, the sword and all the stuff behind it. And if you just throw him into the Eternals as a love interest for Cersei, and there's no other connection, you know what I mean? Like, it's just all of a sudden you've got this guy, and you're kind of like, where did he come from?
Well,
so that's my concern. One of my concerns.
Since we're already kind of doing a Black Widow film that comes way before everything else in Avengers and stuff, what says they don't do that with Black Knight afterwards?
Oh, well,
they
could
set a Black Knight film that follows the sword, or call it the film called Ebony Blade, where it just follows the tracking of the Ebony Blade and how it went from generation to generation.
But their schedule's so full.
Right.
You're talking, you're going to have this character in Eternals. So you need to explain. You can't just have him in Eternals.
Right. You can't have him just show up without some sort of
they
good
could
explanation.
also, in theory, if they have the ability to do it, they could throw it into a show for the Disney Plus app.
They could. But I go back to actually one of the things I thought of that could be an out for them is he shows up at the end with Cersei, and he's the connection to Earth. So like when they start moving towards the Avengers later, you know, maybe he's the how do I put this? He's just like the speed bump at the end that you go, oh, that's the Black Knight. Okay, well, what does that mean? And they leave a cliffhanger a little bit, so that they can pull that back later, you know what I mean?
Well, remember, we might not get very much Black Knight.
And that's true.
Because think about how much Hawkeye... Think about how much Hawkeye we got in the first Thor movie.
Right.
We got Hawkeye, but he was just a silhouette in a cage that was going to arrow him, and that was, you know, they just introduced him, and that was it, and they left it. Right. So you might and that's what I'm saying.
Like that might be this here, you know what I mean? Like, just enough to whet your appetite of, though, there's this guy called the Black Knight, but not enough to do anything with it. Yeah. So I'm excited about it, only in that this could be interesting. I mean, it could put a new twist on the Eternals. Honestly, I didn't want to see the Eternals. I think I even told you guys, if I skip this one, now I'm kind of like, okay, now I gotta go see the Eternals.
As long as we're talking Marvel movies, did you also hear the rumor that they may introduce Wolverine into the Marvel Universe by doing a Wolverine versus Hulk movie?
I heard that. The latest one I was telling my son I read today on Yahoo News, there's a rumor that one of the things they may do to reintroduce the X-Men into the Marvel Universe is to have an X-Men versus Avengers lineup. And what would basically happen is they would accidentally open up the portal to an Earth where the X-Men were already there, and the Avengers assume they're bad. And of course the X-Men assume they're bad, and they like fight each other, and then at the end, almost like Avengers 1, where they're all like fighting each other, and then they realize, wait a minute, we're all on the same side. We've all got an equal enemy on each side of Earth, and we should go after those. And I thought that was kind of an interesting way to maybe potentially introduce the X-Men.
We'll see.
But yeah, either one of those would work for me. I mean, the other one I've heard too is just Deadpool just might cross over and just be the guy that pulls both of them together, which also would work for me too. I mean, there's
and you got to pull Ryan Reynolds in for that. He's really
Disney's agreed. They haven't signed a contract with Reynolds yet, but they have pretty much said publicly on several occasions that they're not going to play with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool because it's just too good and it's too popular. And why would they? And I'm kind of got to agree with them on that.
I kind of want like after credit scenes where Deadpool's showing up at major Avenger like aftermaths, and keep going. Even if he's not, keep being late, and then doing the time thing he's doing. Sorry.
Even if he's not in every after credit scene, I could totally see him replacing Stan Lee as the guy, right? Like, couldn't you guys see him just being in the background reading a paper, or
and then turn around, wave at the camera?
They could be doing some sort of news coverage, and he's in the background going,
It pulls you out the same amount that Stan Lee used to pull
right,
you
that's
out.
what I'm saying. So. Like, wouldn't that be funny if he replaces Stan Lee in that regard?
I don't know if it would be humorous for seeing this as a dig. Maybe he puts in a Stan Lee wig and stands in the background, just Stan Lee wig, like looking at the camera.
I could totally see him doing it.
I think it'd be funny, but it could also be seen as...
It might be too soon.
It might be too soon. Which is why I'm...
Okay. So we're going to go on to our next topic, which is ironic because we're going to move from Marvel to DC here.
Yes.
And it's like, I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm excited, I'm really... And then, I don't want to say I'm not excited. I find the trailer interesting. So we're going to talk about the trailer for the Joker. It's the latest trailer.
I think it's just called Joker.
Is it just called Joker? Okay, yeah, it's Joker. It's the last trailer, right? Before the movie comes out.
The movie comes out in October. So we're like a couple weeks away.
So Joker is played by Joaquin Phoenix. It's eerie how he looks like the Joker at times, and then there's other times where I'm looking at him, I'm not quite making that Joker connection that I want to make with him. Now I'm assuming we're seeing this is supposed to be the creation story of the Joker. Am I understanding that correctly? But here's my thing: was the Joker ever not made into the Joker by dropping him into a vat of chemicals and etc.? Because like that's the impression I'm getting here. He just went crazy.
Well,
didn't get dropped in a vat of anything. Or
in particular comics I've read that are more of the modern ones, Joker's had 3 different origin stories. He doesn't even know. He was the Red Hood in the wrong place at the wrong time, then got thrown in the chemicals. He was a mobster who got his pregnant wife killed, or a comedian who just got into the bad working of the gang.
I've heard of all those. That's the thing.
So there are ones where he doesn't get dropped in a vat.
From what I heard, and I don't want to give too much away, but the reviews of this have been pretty popular. They said the reason this works is because by the time you get to the end of the movie, you're not even sure if you've seen the truth.
Okay.
It's almost told from Joker's point of view in ways. It's like you start to wonder how much of this actually is psychotic, how much of it isn't.
How much is in his head, not much is real.
People said it's very Joker in the way it's filmed and told. It's a smart movie. Now, there's some people who are hating it and giving it horrible reviews, but a lot of the ones out of, it got like an 8-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
So it's doing pretty well. And I still I can't get over the fact that it has a ton of Heath Ledger feel. It feels like Chicago. It's got the same kind of out-of-date clothes style. It almost feels like it could be an origin story for Heath Ledger's Joker.
Right.
So I don't know.
And it's funny because when you talk to everybody who's played a Joker or had played a Joker, it led every single one of those actors to basically lose their mind. I mean, like, Nicholson talked about he had to step away from acting for quite a bit of time. If you pay attention, he didn't do a lot of crazy stories after playing the Joker, and he said he needed like years to get his head back on straight. I mean, Heath Ledger, a lot of people have said the reason he committed suicide was the character literally drove him insane.
What about Hamill's Joker? Because I know that was more just a voiceover Joker.
He was just a voiceover Joker, and I think that's different than when you're actually playing the character and you have to almost be psychotic like that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, first off, when I think of Joaquin Phoenix, he could play a psychotic. I mean, like he was a natural given, kind of like Nicholson to me was always a natural. Like when they said he was Jack Nicholson, I was like, yes, like that totally.
But that was the original Joker.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, well, not really. Cesar Romero is the original
not
Joker.
The '66 Joker, the Joker of the middle, the first 9,
89 Joker.
But you said the original, so
right. That's why I had to correct you. But
my apologies. I'm sorry.
I just find it interesting. I think Cesar Romero. I just hope it doesn't have that mental effect that it seems to have on every other actor that's played the Joker. I mean, like, I hope he's grounded enough that he can handle it. I like the look to an extent. I know a lot of people don't like the look of Joaquin Phoenix's like makeup and all that in the end.
I was going to say I have one qualm, and it's the major qualm. Purple suit. He's wearing a red suit.
Yeah, that could change throughout the movie. You never know.
And I also say that in the comic books, it wasn't always a purple suit. He wore whatever he wore. You know what I mean?
In every version I've seen, he's always wearing a purple shirt, a purple suit, and a green shirt and a bow tie.
I'll show you later. That's not true.
Okay. Well,
there are versions in the comics that even look a lot like
this version here, right?
Well, no, like what's his name from Suicide Squad?
Well, yeah.
There was
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto. There was a tattooed up Joker in the comics. Had a big dragon or something on his back and all this stuff, and he looked.
That was the one that was like he was in prison first, right? And then he broke out of Arkham, and I think that's how that one started.
Yeah, that one was. So there's all
part of the whole Killing Joke series and all that. Yeah. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. My big thing about this is that's kind of depressing. Is if he's good, let's assume Joaquin Phoenix is great, and this is a great Joker film. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, where does
he's
it go?
Not coming back.
It doesn't go anywhere. He's not coming back. There's no other Joker anywhere else. I mean, even if fans scream for it, welcome to DC, folks. We don't do it. We don't carry on. We'll cast Jared Leto again. We'll do some other person as Joker, but we won't do Joaquin Phoenix. That's the frustrating part, I guess. If it is good, and let's say it really is like that story we've been looking for the Joker, it really doesn't matter because in the end, it's not going to go anywhere, and that's kind of depressing, honestly, when you think about it.
Yeah, we were talking before we started recording about when you think about it, the only people who've got any kind of consistency right now in terms of coming back as definite characters we're getting another Wonder Woman with
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot. Although her name's pronounced differently, I've heard that we pronounce it wrong. But and we still have Margot Robbie as Harley coming
Quinn.
out in the new Birds of Prey movie.
Right.
So you got a couple people carrying over a little bit, but then you got Suicide Squad, which is going to have Margot Robbie in it as Harley Quinn, but like everybody else is recast, and it probably
I was gonna say you're
very
gonna
no
have
connection.
completely different people playing characters that were already in the first Suicide Squad that don't.
Most of them I don't think are coming back though. I think they're all new characters.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But
the characters.
yeah, like actual.
Okay.
New, I don't think they're recasting Deadshot for an example.
Oh,
or
okay.
anything. I think they're literally going to replace everyone except Harley Quinn.
Okay.
So, but that's the thing is, it's like
one other person is Momoa is coming back as Aquaman for Aquaman 2.
Is he?
As soon as he gets done doing protesting.
We'll see if we get it.
You will.
I mean, he made a lot of money, and he was very popular. So.
No, which amazes me because I got to be honest with you, it's still not one of my favorite superhero movies.
Aquaman?
Aquaman, yeah.
I mean, I was sitting down watching it today.
I know you guys were watching it today, but I'm telling you, it's
felt,
2 hours of my life I can't get back.
I was actually entertained with it.
Really?
I'm saying I'm with Gary on this. It's not super bad. It's a little disjointed. It jumps around from place to place, but it keeps you. We're here now.
I'm telling you right now, there's a section in the middle, you have not gotten to it yet, that your mother and I literally
You're
fell
almost
asleep.
At the end.
Okay.
We're in the final battle scene. I had to pause and wait for Ruth.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
The middle section, where there was no action going on, and there was a lot of talk about the past and how this stuff was going to change the future and this and that. All that stuff, your mother and I fell asleep through the whole thing. When they're in Atlantis and they're talking about all the stupid bull crud from the past. It was unnecessary. It was unneeded. And if you knew anything about Aquaman, you didn't need it. And
I didn't know anything about this version of Aquaman.
It was about 30 minutes of movie that they could have cut and put something better in.
But it's the problem with DC all the time.
Right.
You're right. You introduce a character, they gotta give a stupid backstory on the whole.
And they gotta repeat the backstory and repeat the backstory and repeat the backstory. Because if I see Batman's pearls fall to the freaking ground one more time, somebody's gonna get
I just want to see Batman and pearls.
slapped upside the head. Batman and pearls. The pearl suit.
I think all they should do with Spider-Man is one day he should drop a box of Uncle Ben's rice and be like, oh, and then that's it. And then move on.
That's how he comes back into the DC a year later.
That would be awesome for a Deadpool Spider-Man team up.
There you go.
Deadpool drop
it. Oh.
Or they're just like both in a convenience store and Deadpool just walked up to the rice. He starts stabbing the box. He's like, how does this make you feel? Does this bother you at all?
I'm sorry, is this too soon? See, this is why they don't have us rate movies, because they would come out very psychotic in the long run.
It would be extremes. You have really extremely psychotic and crazy, and then the really mild stuff that's just doesn't make no sense.
Okay, so why would you point at me with the extremely crazy stuff?
I was just kind of in the spectrum line.
Yeah, right, sure.
Right. Okay, so let's move on to the last thing we wanted to talk about here for our intro, and that was the last. No, it's not the last, right? Because there's supposed to be one more.
I think there's going to be one more.
The latest trailer for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Now, the first thing you'll notice about this trailer is that the first 30 seconds is dedicated to nostalgia. Hey, remember all these great things?
Minute and a half, I think. Like, you're only getting really a minute of like new footage. I think, if that, 60 seconds of it.
Well, but they're recapping what you don't know what happened before. That's all.
Yeah, if you've been asleep for the last 35 years,
then these random shots are going to tell you everything you need to know. No, they don't tell you anything.
Right.
The way I see it is, and this is towards like the middle of the trailer when Luke starts saying, "We've passed on all we know." So here's what's all we know, and
yeah,
it's kind of. I'm telling you right now,
it's a nostalgia pull.
Yeah, the one has going to have nothing to do with the other. I'm telling you right now, all they're doing is saying, "Here's Luke Skywalker, there's Boba Fett, there's Darth Maul, there's Han Solo, there's Chewbacca." Now you know. That's all it is. Yeah, I mean, it's
red lasers, blue lasers.
It has nothing to do. I guarantee you, it has nothing to do.
Yeah,
it's
you're
all.
Right. We're almost a full minute into this 2 minute 23 second trailer,
and there's nothing.
We're still getting shots from previous movies.
Right. There's nothing new. It's all stuff you've seen. Don't get me wrong, it's all cool stuff, but it's all stuff you've seen. I remember watching this going, are we going to get to a trailer, or is this just going to be... I thought it was actually fan-made when I first saw it. Like, because I thought, well, there's no way.
We get a minute and 14 in, then we get
that's
this
what
this
I paused
Christmas.
Okay, I have a theory on this whole backstory that they showed.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What's your theory?
I was going to say, tell the theory now before we keep going.
That every person you saw on that
Yeah. It's going
to have a cameo or whatever in the Rise of Skywalker.
All right, so
Okay.
let's go through that to see who was in it.
Oh, so they're all going to have cameos.
Oh.
Then there's quite a few cameos. I mean, some of these would make sense. I mean, Luke makes sense. I would.
Well, we're going to get
surprised.
Luke. We're going to get
Luke. We
I was
know
gonna
that
say,
already.
We're going to get Carrie Fisher because she's
We
in
know
it
that
with
already.
other footage. But Han Solo.
Twin sons, Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
But can you believe...
Obi-Wan as a ghost could happen.
Mhm. But can you have an actor who could play that? 3PO and R2 are going to be there. They're probably at their last film.
Chewie. We'll have Chewie.
Yep.
They already got the
We'll have walkers.
the medal.
Vader's helmet.
Apparently Hayden Christensen is
Yeah,
people believe
there's
that-
rumors. that
Oh,
he's-
did we hear about the canceled? We didn't
I
mention
did.
it.
Yeah, we can talk
Pause
about
this.
that.
Yeah, pause
Go
this.
ahead.
So, well, what show was it? It was, I can't remember the name of the con, but anyway, there was a convention.
I
where
think it
there
was in
a-
Las Vegas. I remember
Might have
correctly.
been. There was a planned panel, a
Yep.
Disney panel that was going to have Ian McDermott and Hayden Christensen both at it.
At the panel.
At the panel. And everyone was like, why are they doing, people were super excited to hear what this was going to be about. The panel got canceled the day of. They're both at the convention. They both could do the panel. Disney canceled the panel.
I was just about to say, the important part is Disney called up and canceled the panel and said, you can't do that, that's too much.
They were worried
They
about...
literally said, it's too much of a spoiler.
So what did the two actors do?
Well, you're talking about the Emperor and Darth Vader.
No. What did Hayden Christensen and Ian McDermott do?
They went to a hospital,
Right.
which I thought was great.
That was nice.
That was a really nice call on their part. I'm glad they did that.
Yep.
But I did see here,
Got time to kill it,
I'll
too.
agree with you, Eric, because that threw up red flags for me, and I went, wait a minute, if they're saying that's a spoiler alert, then they're implying that we're going to see Vader and the Emperor side by side. Now, maybe they're Force ghosts. I don't know.
No.
Go ahead.
But maybe they're alive. Who knows?
You say we're going to see Boba Fett in this movie?
That's why I'm saying that, but I paused here because Boba
Well,
Fett.
just go back just a little bit more, a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, back to the ceremonies.
Oh, back to the ceremony.
Yeah,
Okay.
From New Hope.
Yep.
All right, not necessarily this whole thing, but they got the medallion
Okay.
from the ceremony.
Yep.
So that's why that's there.
That's why
Because
that's
they
there.
did say that's in the movie.
Yep.
Walkers
Walkers will return. You think that's why that's there?
Yep.
I think this is because of the Star Destroyer, not necessarily Vader. Although
Right.
Vader's, because we see Star Destroyers.
Boba may make an appearance, or maybe the Mandalorian.
Or a Mandalorian. I get what you're saying there. Okay.
Carbon freezing again.
Carbon freezing might show up. I could see that. Cloud City
Yoda again.
or Dagobah even.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe a mixture of both.
Lando, we know that's confirmed.
The Death Star is definitely in there.
Maul?
Would Maul be? Well,
No, Maul
what if he's leading the Black Sun Syndicate somewhere in the middle?
No,
He's-
Maul died. Obi-Wan killed him. Rebels.
Rebels is canon.
It is. But what did I call back during Rebels?
Right, when they discovered that you can go back through time and be
Oh
in
my
that
goodness.
vortex
Exactly.
or whatever. What if Maul's been in that vortex all
Yeah,
this
but that's
time?
hard because then you're going to put all that into this movie. People may not have seen Rebels.
But it could still be just a flashback or something too.
It could be a flashback.
Or he could be. I still go back to what if they're going to show that you can be a Sith ghost just like you can be a
I was
Jedi
gonna say,
ghost?
what if Palpatine pulls in a bunch of previous bad elements to fight the good elements,
Right.
And you
Or-
get that great fight we always wanted.
Or I'm sitting here saying, and I've been thinking about this for years. What if Jedi ghosts can fight Sith ghosts?
Ooh, on like a ghost plane?
Yes.
Oh.
On like a celestial plane fight.
Press play.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Press play.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just throwing things out there. in my
Young
head.
Obi-Wan,
Young
Qui-Gon,
and
Shmi.
Shmi.
And that's not necessarily Shmi, but
Where was
Anakin.
Shmi?
Anakin
I
again.
didn't see Shmi.
All these,
You didn't see Shmi? She's there.
I saw.
Oh
Shmi, but
yeah,
I'm
the
just
back
saying,
of her
not-
head, but
Not necessarily.
I think it was more Jake Lloyd.
I think so,
we're
too,
gonna
'cause
get
it's-
Jake Lloyd
it's aimed at him,
appearing.
yeah.
Right. All those stuff are right there.
You think
Yeah.
we're getting a mace?
You think Windows
Yes.
gonna survive?
I said it right along.
Sorry.
So what's he been doing all this time? Because this isn't even. We're going from the prequels to the regular series to 40 years to now this series. Where's he been?
Okay.
Just like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Who Who did he nearly destroy?
Palpatine.
Right. Who's coming back?
Palpatine.
That's why Mason Windu is going to pop up.
Because he's got to be the one to finish the job.
With one arm. With a metal arm.
Why not?
I would think with a metal arm.
This is a lot to pull in if
it
they're
is,
do
but
all
it's
this.
cool, it's a cool idea.
A very deformed body.
So Vader,
yeah, Kylo. Well, now
we know that.
Now we're into the current
Ray,
stuff.
we know
We'll definitely
that,
have
yeah.
all this.
And they've also said that there's going to be a Sith versus Sith fight.
Ooh.
Yeah, it could be the whole race ending thing, though. Fighting Palpatine.
So we haven't even gotten to the new stuff. So
We
when we
haven't
get to the
touched
new
that.
stuff,
See, this right here looks like a celebration. I
right?
wonder
So
if that's
here's
like
the
at the
rumor
end.
that I've heard is this is the end of the movie. So this is the first. If you're watching the trailer, it's about a minute 15 in. They show them coming around the rock, and there's all these people. This is supposed to be, from my understanding, the Ewok celebration at the end of Return of the Jedi. This is the equivalent. My understanding of that.
But
That's the rumors I've heard.
But there's also a spoiler I heard on that too. So
Okay. And then this is Leia, older Leia. Now, this one I thought was interesting because you see all the ships come flying in, right? And there's some ships on there that you're like, whoa. Okay, because like obviously there's a Tandem 4, there's a Y-Wing, there's some B-Wings, X-Wings. But there's this weird ship off to the right, and there's been a lot of debate about what that ship is. Now, one of the debates is that's the Ghost.
Yep.
The other debate is that that's actually the ship that Kyle Katarn flew. What was that called?
You mean Dash Rendar?
Dash Rendar, yeah. What was that called? The YT-7200? No, that's that one.
The Outrider.
Outrider, thank you. That may actually be the Outrider. And the weird thing is, I kind of looked it up. When you look at the Outrider and you look at the Ghost, they have almost the same
Look.
like shadow to them.
Right.
So it could be one or the other. Either one, it would be kind of cool to see it. So, oh yeah, and there's some A-Wings too.
I was
some
gonna
people
say, I
pointed
saw
out
the
underneath.
A-Wings. I'm trying to figure out what...
Yeah, so that
There's B-Wings in there too.
B-Wings, yep. So there's some really cool ships there. And then everybody went crazy over this shot. It's all of the Star Destroyers in a gigantic row. It makes it look like there's a ton of them. I personally don't think this is an army of Star Destroyers. I think it's a shipyard. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, they're all just lined up in a ship. They're not really functioning or anything. They're just a bunch of dreadnoughts that are ready for battle but haven't even been activated yet.
And there's another shot that I saw that had some of the older Star Destroyers.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, what if this is old Star Destroyers being melted down
No.
for the First Order?
No, I just think they're sitting in a dry dock somewhere, being, you know.
What I think it is they go and they get these ships. The first order, but the Resistance gets them.
Yeah, and uses them.
Uses them against
The Empire. That's what I'm thinking too.
Right.
Which would actually go back to Zahn's book, because if you remember in that book, they did that. They stole all the dreadnoughts and then used them again. So again, here's Disney raping some stories from some other things,
And-
which I'm fine with because it's a cool story. But
And that's another thing I've heard too is that Thrawn is going to be making an appearance.
make an appearance in this,
Even
That'd
though
be
he was in
interesting.
Rebels and they got
No.
pulled away and...
But he lived through Rebels. That's the thing.
What's your opinion of the Red-Eyed 3PO?
I first off, I think it's kind of cool. It could be one of two things. I think either he's going undercover. You know what I mean? Like he's going in as a Sith droid to do something, or it's a possibility maybe he's been compromised and he's got a virus, and maybe he what he sees is what the First Order sees, right? Like, so they use him as a droid that's a spy. I don't know.
I'm thinking reading a corrupt file because we've mentioned and other trailers of seeing parts of the Death Star. Maybe they find a file disk about something
What do you think?
and he's reading corrupt files.
It's a stretch. Anakin's inside him.
Oh, possessing him?
What?
Possessing him?
Yes, because look at the background.
Yeah, it's got a Darth Vader-esque look to it.
It does, but it's also when they created Vader, that same type of emergency room. type
Right,
thing.
that apparatus.
Right.
It looks more like the Tatooine hut.
So then they show this red laser hitting a planet. What do you guys think that is?
Death Star.
I'm thinking
Or
so too.
or another Star
Or a Star
base.
Killer base that you know what I mean? A second one that they missed.
They've remade it.
Now, this is the other one that caused a lot of controversy. Rey throws her lightsaber, cuts through a tree. By the way, if you never caught it, there's a remote droid there. Okay?
I think she was trying to throw
But
it
it's
at it.
what she has on her hand when she goes to grab the lightsaber.
A red sash.
A red sash. Now, You guys know what the
She's
red
a
sash
cowboy.
means. No, she's not a cowboy from Tombstone. But do we know what the red sash means to Jedi?
Dark Jedi?
Turning Jedi.
Ooh.
A
Is
Jedi
that a-
that is training with both sides of the Force.
Is that a slice down her arm?
Well, there isn't.
I think it may be wrapped around,
there is
wrapped up her hand.
Yeah, there is a question about whether she's sliced down the arm or she's wearing a wrap. There seems to be a lot of confusion about that whole scene. 'Cause
No,
you're
it does
right,
look like a wrap.
but it
Yeah,
looks
it
like
looks
a
like one
wrap
of her
when you do it in
wraps.
slow motion. You see Kylo, he
Exiting
comes
his
out,
fighter.
turns his lightsaber on, and then all of a sudden they're on this, what looks like a ship. Now,
I
I'm
think
telling you,
it's part of the Death Star.
Yeah.
I
it's
think
part
it's
of
the
the
Death
Death Star,
Star because here's the deal. If you look in the back left-hand
there's
corner,
turbo
it's
laser.
one of the turbo lasers, and I think this is part of the trench.
Like the old...
Right, like the old
Ooh.
style trench, and they're fighting over the old trench. Now, somebody pointed out this is like a complete mirror image of the Mustafar fight, right? Because they're all around lava and are all around. So now what are they doing? They've got
Yeah,
you all
over
around water, right? So it's the same idea, but now you're around water. Which I thought was a valid point to make, that you're not just dealing with a fight, you're dealing with a fight over water.
Go back
Death
2
Star's in
seconds.
the background.
I was gonna say, go back 2 seconds. I think we see a bit of the Death Star in the
It is.
background.
This is the planet.
Because you got this disc here, up here in the top.
So
It
a
looks
lot
like-
of people have speculated this is Endor. After the Death Star fell onto the moon. So
Not the moon, the actual planet.
the planet of Endor. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, that's right. The
Ewoks
the
lived on
shield
moon.
was on the moon of Endor.
Right.
Oops. Well, play. Yep. Sorry. And then, of course, this moment that everybody goes freaking bonkers about. Rey comes out. She has a lightsaber that's red. It's a
Yes.
double blade. She flips it open, and it looks like the Darth Maul saber. And, of course, people went crazy, supposedly, at D23 over this. So, we have not talked about our speculations on this. What do you guys think's going on here?
There's I'm worried it's going to be, I'd love it to be something I don't expect, but I'm worried it's going to be one of three things. It's going to be A, Rey actually turns for a little while, B, the Emperor possesses her, or C, we're seeing a scene from a trial not unlike Luke confronting Vader on Dagobah, where it's either a vision of her own or Kylo's.
Okay. Gary, what do you think it is?
I think it's the last one there, the trial
vision?
on Dagobah.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping she does turn. I do.
I prefer
What-
she don't turn.
What do you think it is?
I have to kind of agree with the Dagobah kind of thing, but I'm noticing something. Bottom corner, her hand. What's on her finger?
Just a ring of some sort, I think.
It looks like a red and gold ring.
Might
Is
be.
there any red and gold things in the Sith archives?
Maybe.
Like an object that it could be possibly on the Death Star?
I think redemption in the movie, at least, again, these are all theories, right? Like, my redemption theory is that the Force completely 180s. It's the one thing that has never happened in Star Wars, where the good guy becomes the bad guy, and the bad guy redeems himself to become the good guy.
Okay.
So I think Rey spends so much time training with all of the arts that she actually goes too far and falls into the dark side. And I think Kylo is trying to redeem himself so bad, and I this is my theory, that the guilt of killing his father, even though he didn't show it, is going to bring him back to the light. Now, wouldn't that be a cool, if the dynamic totally flipped and they could show you that you could actually 180 on both sides of the Force, and that brings balance to the Force ultimately, because good is bad and bad is good.
So where does Rise of Skywalker come in on all this? Because the title's got to be important.
I think, I believe, go ahead. Gary.
This is my whole theory on the whole thing, is that the Jedi Order is done.
Right.
They don't call Force users Jedi anymore. They're going to call them Skywalkers.
Right, we said that before, but how does that tie into all this? Do
Can I-
you
can
think
I-
Kylo starts a
So
school?
here's my theory.
No, can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
The other thing is Rey is going to be a brother to Anakin, born generations apart.
Okay.
Like a Force birth.
Yes.
The midichlorians.
Yep.
So we're going to get midichlorians back.
Yeah, maybe.
I have a different theory.
My theory is that when the balance of the Force happens, right, these two flip-flop, instead of having Sith and Jedi, because now we've brought it all to balance, every Force user, and I'm glad you used that phrase because I was going to use it, becomes a Skywalker. Whether you're Jedi Sith, there's no Jedi Sith anymore. All Force users are now Skywalkers. We're all one.
I'm gonna throw a real.
And bad and evil become, or bad and good become one.
I'm gonna throw a real curveball in here. And some of the tweets that Mark Hamill himself has said is that Luke did not die a virgin. I think there's a kid out there that's gonna be a Skywalker. That the kid we saw in Canto Bight is Luke's kid that the mother ran off with because he didn't want being a Jedi.
Or raise his kid. The age is
Maybe.
there.
Yep. That's a possibility.
Because they've been doing all these tweets where they were joking about Finn being his kid. They used to tweeted back and forth with "Hey Dad," "Hey Son," and they tweet each other all the time as a joke. I wonder if that was a play on.
But I still go back to, I mean, his point about the boy is not too far off. Remember,
Right.
he's got a 6-movie deal outside of the last movie.
I'm
he
putting
did.
money down that there's gonna be a kid that's a Skywalker and a Luke Skywalker,
Well,
not a Anakin Skywalker.
I'm telling you right now, I don't think they're gonna touch that, and I'll tell you why. Personally, the kid's got a six movie contract. Rian Johnson's writing the next trilogy. He threw that in for himself. He needed it. Rian did, because I think you're gonna have a generation of Skywalkers, and then there's gonna be a bad Jedi somewhere that's gonna ruin the idea that good and evil can live together happily. I think that kid is the kid that ruins it and becomes dark.
So
and
you're
becomes
saying every
evil.
kid who has to be like forced to work for their lives and then are a Jedi, they become evil because that's the parallel to that and Anakin.
No, I'm saying that kid is just the source of the next set of movies, the next bad moment.
To tell you who Luke Skywalker's kid is, it's going to be Poe Dameron Ramading.
It would make sense a little bit that he's got some Force skills because his piloting abilities are absolutely amazing. And remember, they've talked about the fact that, hey, when you pod race, only Force users can do that. What if his piloting abilities are really kind of a show of pod racing abilities? I mean, that you got a valid point.
Anakin was a hell of a pilot. Luke was a hell
Luke was
of
a
a
hell of a
pilot.
pilot.
Poe is.
But
It
as
would-
was Biggs, and Biggs wasn't a Force user.
Biggs wasn't a good pilot because he got killed.
Right. He
So
didn't
now,
make it.
what is
True.
Finn's story arc? What is he going to be? What's his finale?
I think he's just a redeemed. I don't think there is
His whole story happened.
It's
in the first
already
movie.
happened. Yeah, it happened
And
in the
now
first
he's
movie.
just. See, I don't like.
Now
that.
he's just part of the Resistance.
Someone's got to go somewhere.
He's an old clone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's a part of the Resistance that is now just moves on as part of the Resistance. I don't know what I mean. I know what you're saying. He seemed like a big deal in the first movie, but I think his big deal was in that first movie, and we're past that now. The Force Awakens took care of that, and I really just think he's
Well, the Last Jedi.
he's like the Lando of the group.
The
I hate to put it
Last
that way.
Jedi finished this story because he killed his mom.
That's really racist. You said it like Lando.
No, I'm not saying he's token.
Oh,
Notice I did not say he was token. I said he was like Lando.
Yes,
And I just want to correct myself on that.
you're going to need to do some editing here.
Yes. Okay, so those are our thoughts on Kit Harrington playing Marvel's Black Knight, our thoughts on the trailer for Joker, and our thoughts on the Star Wars Episode 9 latest trailer. We're still waiting for the final trailer to drop for Episode 9, so that's coming out yet sometime soon.
I'll bet you not until like Thanksgiving or something.
Probably not. I think they're going to drop it with like a Super Bowl commercial or something you watch. It's going to be something like that.
Oh,
Or
nice.
no, it has to be before then, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I think it's
Thanksgiving parade
going
or
to
something.
be some big thing.
Yeah.
What's a big release coming out this fall they could attach it to?
Well, The Mandalorian.
I was gonna say you have.
What if they tack it on,
As a TV
as a
commercial?
TV
TV
commercial
ad.
on D23 or
Could be.
D+.
When does that premiere? November
17th.
Okay.
So it could
So
be,
basically, what would happen is this ad would constantly play, and Dad's gonna be sitting there going, "Come on!"
right? So
Either that or playing and rewinding it a lot.
okay, so those are our thoughts on those three subjects. We'd love to hear from you. Head over to GalaxyCast.com. Let us know. YouTube. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Twitter. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be right back to talk about Star Wars Resistance. I try really hard not to say Star Wars Rebels because I have a tendency to do that.
I'm going to save that.
Yep, I'm doing it right now.
Messages.
Oh, my ears. I was gonna grab a soda from the fridge. Do you want one, Dad?
Nope.
Okay.
Can I have one? On my throat.
You want a Code Red or a Dragon Mountain Dew?
Are they small Code Reds, like the cans?
Yeah, there's the
Yeah,
cans.
16
Yeah,
cans.
that's fine.
I'm just going to let the video run. I'll be back. I'm going to use the restroom myself.
Okay.
We were in the store and Mom asked if you like voltage. I'm like, not absolutely sure on that. I know he doesn't mind voltage. I know he just don't like that orange one. We're at the store shopping. Mom's like, I know you like regular too. What's the other one he likes?
I actually like Code Red.
Well, no, my dad. So there was like Voltage, Code Red, and there was a couple other ones, and I know the one that he despises the most is that orange one.
Yeah, the Voltage. I don't like the ones with the caffeine added, like the extra stuff. I just like plain old Code Red. Let me see.
Trying to get more. Been trying to get some videos edited for my YouTube portfolio for adding to resumes and such. Just have to figure out where I can shoot. I'm trying to make sure I don't have to break legal law. If I go filming somewhere, I make sure I don't have people while I'm filming his nature of technically stealing a spot, not necessarily.
You can be creative with your editing.
Yeah, I don't have the greatest of film editor or film editing software, but I've got something that's free and essentially similar to Premiere. So it'll get the job done. It doesn't have to be fancy, but there's tutorials I can look up so I can do some fancy stuff I wanted to.
I'm coming.
What? Yes, Dad? Grab that and take your money. Okay. Were you guys, did we have the new hot water heater in when you guys came last?
No, I'm seeing it. I looked at it as we went by. It's nice.
Yeah, so far we have not had a morning where we had hot water yet, which we have had happen in the past. And we put it on bricks because eventually the goal is to level out the floor in the basement. We figured if it's on bricks, it'll just get cemented into the leveling. Not a big deal.
No. That works good. I went my saw my tax guy today just to check on. I pretty much balance out this year so far with income versus expenses versus how much I owe taxing. He's like, usually I pay in like $500 twice. Between now, I do one payment in September, one payment in December, just to help kind of cover what I'm going to owe when tax season comes. But because I'm almost, it's like you're like, you owe like $170 right now, and you want to even bother paying it now, or do you want to just wait until tax season? I'm like, I can just wait until tax season.
Yeah.
So hopefully it stays. If I get more shows and get some more income, I got to contact them. Then I might want to pay some in to help cover. But he said right now there's no need. I like the one that says, why were there only one set of footprints? He's like, well, that's because they were sand people. They walk single file to hide their numbers.
Tara cannot get over how much now we're seeing like trick or treat out there, like the kid with the.
Oh, he's become a hype. He's an up there icon.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's become pretty popular all of a sudden.
I'm trying to think.
She thanked me she's like, I'm so glad we watched that movie now. I totally understand it.
There's something else I wanted you guys to see.
You gotta thank me for it, not you.
That's true.
Did you see that GIF someone put together of Rey opening her lightsaber? Just type in Rey opening lightsaber meme.
Oh, I've seen a couple memes of it. Yeah.
Huh. One where the Swiss Army knife?
Yeah, the Swiss Army knife one is the
that's
funny
the one I
one.
wanted you to see. It was done really well because it's rotoscoped like perfectly.
It is. I think I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah, it is down there in 9 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, she gets it's really well done.
Just
right?
one knife.
Really well done.
Other than the fact that when you look at the hands, watch the hands a minute, because you can tell he laid it over
Yeah, well,
so
yeah.
there's several hands overlaid, but
yeah.
other than that, it's hysterical.
Oh yeah, that looks so funny on the hand portion, but
I was the one that brought that up, right, Austin? We were at home.
oh yeah, I
showed
saw that
to
one.
you,
No,
right?
you're
Yeah.
just-
Well, you only person in this room that commented was Eric.
What?
I had seen it, I just didn't know what to.
Oh yeah, I thought that was perfect.
Yeah.
I'm like, hell yeah.
Oh God, it's so true.
I saw it. I'm kind of like, well, that answers everything.
So we did first order occupation, right?
And
Yeah,
new trooper.
And the new trooper.
Just making sure I had them right.
Yeah, what was it? Go back to the listing of the titles for a second. Never mind, okay. I kept
There are
saying,
only 1, 2, 3,
I saw
4, 5.
I saw the
yeah.
core problem that disappeared in Descent. I read them all together as the disappointment. I'm like, oh, that encapsulates this show.
Careful how you read them.
Oops, sorry, Eric.
Well, something that I haven't been saying all since the beginning.
These 2 episodes weren't terrible.
Oh my
but-
god, these were awful.
Yes,
Right.
they were bad. The reason why
Save it for the podcast.
The reason why
people.
you liked it is because it was you.
No.
That's what I said during the episode.
Save it for the podcast, people. Are you ready?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
Can you save this, right?
Yes, I already saved it once. So.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Hey, folks, welcome back to this episode of the let me try that again. Hey, folks, welcome back to this episode of the GalaxyCast as we talk about Star Wars Resistance, Season 1, Episodes 14, titled The First Order Occupation, and Episode 15, titled The New Trooper. Do we want to do them separately or do we want to do them together?
Let's do them together.
I think we could just kind of group all this together.
Okay.
Knock 2 out of the way.
Okay, so...
Because really it was all about Yellow Bird Head. In a
Right?
two-parter.
Like between 2 episodes, all we see is the yellow bird head and almost behind the scenes of every shot. Actually, I've decided he probably knows more about what's going on in the Star Wars universe during this time period than any other character, even BB-8.
He's the spy.
Yeah, right? Why don't they actually... why aren't they questioning him? He seems to be at every place and in all the wrong time. He should be the spy.
I wonder if they'll actually do that. And
That actually would be funny
He'll
as
be
all get
arrested
out.
like at the end or something.
They took his force scrubber.
So they took his
Well,
floor scrubber, and then he had
not
to do it,
even talk about the episode.
and then he had to do it by hand.
Yeah.
And they
And
made
then they
fun
got
of
mad
that.
about him with that, you know.
Then he was cleaning up trash, and picking it up and throwing it in the can. And
Okay,
then he was
so-
on the elevator complaining.
So for all my friends out there, yes, Hondo, I'm talking to you. Ned, I'm talking to you. Ruben, I'm talking to you. Okay. When you watch this episode again, I want you to go back and watch the episode again and tell me you do not see the Blues Brothers. What did they call him?
Whipped cream head.
The whipped cream monster. Yes. Who put the whipped cream on their head? Or it wasn't whipped cream, it was shaving cream, right? That's what it was. I think it was
Is
shaving
this
cream.
Blues Brothers 2000
Yeah,
or something?
Blues Brothers
Oh, I
2000.
never saw that
Yeah.
one.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, I gotta show you guys this clip, because when you see it, you're gonna look at that yellow character in a completely different way. So if you've never seen Blues Brothers 2000, watch that first. Then go look at the yellow character. Please stop, sorry. If you've never seen Blues Brothers 2000 first, look at that and then go watch the blue character, because I think it was John Goodman that did the character. It looks just like, as I'm telling you. It's awkward, but it looks just like him. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what was going on between these 2 episodes. And quite honestly, I really felt like it was an extended story. Don't you guys feel like that over the last 2 episodes, even though...
Yeah, because the
There were
first
2
one was
episodes,
about
but-
the occupation. It's basically become about stormtroopers on the
Right, we've
Colossus
got
now.
First Order now are actually there, and they're occupying. In the first episode, Kaz scrambles to help Sonara escape the platform because she's the spy,
and he likes
the
her.
pirate spy, and of course he likes her. So the First Order sends continued stormtroopers to hunt down the spy.
In his own words is he didn't like her. He likes the food.
Yeah,
Right,
that's right.
Right.
When there's certain food that people don't like, but you like it. Well, shut up.
Yeah, and that's I
It's
think
him.
I thought that
Who's-
was ow.
Who's writing this script going, I'm good, yeah.
Right?
Food, and you mean...
Yeah, and
I'm not writing the script for Star Wars Resistance, Gary.
I gotta kind of agree with Gary. There is kind of an Austin-esque feel to it. I mean, I agree with you, Gary. Eric, it's awkward, weird, and like not even funny at this point. It's
Well, so-
beyond like stupid.
Kaz has not evolved as a character. He's still overly cocky over everything he does, doesn't listen to what anyone tells him, bumbles around, gets into trouble, and like, how many times did he bump into crates and knock things? It was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a running joke. I get it. It wasn't funny the first time. It wasn't funny 5 times later or whatever.
Right.
The joke didn't work, because Kaz is annoying as a person.
Go down and click the view the full cast list. See who that Mary McKee's character is.
Oh, if they list them off?
Yeah.
No.
No, it doesn't look like it. So yeah, they don't list them off. Although they list off the
Goatman.
right.
Yeah, the goat guy.
The goat guy.
I didn't do anything.
Goatman should have been voiced by what's his name there?
Jason Hightower.
No, from Saturday Night Live. The stoner guy. He played Goatman on there.
Belushi?
No.
Well,
Brewer, Jim Brewer.
Okay, Brewer. Okay.
He played a Goatman character on the
Did
show.
he really?
He did a talk show as a Goatman, and it was.
Oh, I remember that now.
It was
yes.
pretty darn
yes.
funny. That's the only thing I could think of when
that one
I
I
watched
haven't
this.
Well,
yeah.
the goat guy was Doza.
Yeah, right.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was
guy.
Doza, Jason
Oh,
Hightower.
jeez.
Same guy for both. That's actually kind of funny.
So who is Nazine Contractor? Why have I heard the name before?
Who?
Does she do other? Who plays Sonara? What other voices does she do?
Right there.
Well, let's find out.
No, don't know much about her.
She was in Stalker, Scorpion, Chicago PD, Last Resort, Major Crimes, Chained by Design, Person of Interest,
A
Revenge.
lot of TV stuff. The name sounds familiar, and I just don't know why. Maybe I'm just thinking of actual contractors who do like work on things.
Maybe.
She sounds
We're
familiar.
sorry.
So it looked like D. Bradley Baker did a couple voices here. The weird alien that got questioned at the beginning.
Yeah,
He
the
voiced
fat-
one of
the
the
fat
security
Greedo.
guards. Yep, the fat Greedo.
card.
So, what do you guys think about this idea that all of a sudden the First Order comes and they're just like cracking down and everything suddenly changes? I mean,
Republic to Empire-esque.
well, I almost want to say it definitely has a Nazi Germany feel, don't you think?
They're
To me.
totally playing off the idea of, and they right to the point where they even said it.
Right.
You get more security and safety by giving up your freedoms. And the one girl kind of sides with it. She feels safer. Obviously, it's supposed to be the argument counterpoint. The people disagree on how much security and how much freedom is worth it.
That line I think
But-
comes in the new Trooper because they're talking about it at the table
Yeah.
before all that stuff happens.
So it's trying to almost tread the line of political.
I was about to say, I felt like the episode was slightly politicized by using that line in the episode. Like, if it had been just there and nobody had said anything about it, you could have kind of let it slip and not really worry about the politics of it. But I kind of felt like they deliberately inserted the politics into it a little bit by throwing that line in.
Oh, yeah.
Into
Yeah.
a kids show on Disney.
I give you that, but you also got to remember they do know adults are watching it. They're not stupid. They're pretty.
I get
you know,
this, but
Well,
that's,
remember,
that's what I'm upset about.
Star Wars was supposed to be a movie for kids, and 20 minutes into it, you get a scene where they talk about the Galactic Senate being disbanded,
Right,
and
right.
senators and this and that, and it's
Yeah,
all
they start talking about
politics
the
for like 10
politics
minutes.
of it. Yeah.
So
even though it's meant for kids, we know it's also marketed to it. It's like I call it the Looney Tunes effect. It's where it's marketed to kids, but really intended for adults.
adults get the
They get it more than the kids do. But I mean, there definitely was that political tang to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's where it's kind of like, leave that at home. Don't bring it to your show to...
But I
this
think that's the
audience.
whole point of Star Wars is to talk about. Remember, the Empire. Okay, everything's from a certain point of view. I'm sorry, I got to start pulling that one out.
You're fine,
right?
I get it. I
So
get
the
point.
Empire, from different points of view, means different things. To certain people, as she brought up, security, it's the idea that, hey, if you've got a lot of force there and people controlling things, there's a sense of security about it. But as somebody else pointed out, when you do that, you take people's freedoms away. And there is a give and take and an ebb and flow to security and freedom and how the two things play together.
But I still say there's a time and place for that kind of stuff to be inserted in the show, and this did not feel organic.
Ironically, this is the one time I felt like it was okay.
Yeah, okay.
Personally,
I
felt
don't.
it was.
I don't.
It didn't take me out of it. I just thought it was okay.
Well, if you go back to the A New Hope, you got the rebellion and you got the Nazi Germany. So
Yeah.
that's what it's all about.
Right.
It was all political right from the get-go.
Yeah, but it's also historically kind of based because it's essentially like Nazi Germany versus American freedom.
Okay, you didn't see any of that in this episode?
I saw bits of it, but also the way arguments were made.
What I saw this episode was Black Lives Matter against cops.
I kind of saw that
That's
too.
what
Gary,
I was
yeah.
getting out of it too, and that might be just because of what's going on at the current time. Layered with this, it's just too much all at once.
That's the way the stories work, though.
Yeah.
Is they reflect your current time
Right.
period. Someone 20 years
Right,
from now
because when
could
you
watch
tell a
this
political piece,
Yeah.
it always reflects what's going on at the time.
and,
I absolutely agree with
people
you.
bring their own things to it.
Like
Alright.
I still think 50 years from now, Star Trek's going to be viewed differently than it was when it came out.
Right.
Because at
Oh,
the
yeah,
time,
yeah.
it was definitely reflecting the stories of whatever's going on in the 60s. I mean, it's viewed different now. You've talked about that. Some of the things make no sense to you, and I've had to tell you about what was going on in the 60s to make it make sense to you.
When watching original Star Trek, I had to keep reminding myself why I'm like, Aurora's never talking. She's always in the back desk. Oh wait, women's rights have not really.
And I told you, just the simple
fully
fact
flourished.
that she was on set was a big deal
on
at
top
the
of
time.
it, on top of it, African American rights as well in that situation.
Right.
So
First
it's kinda-
interracial kiss on TV.
I
was
haven't
on
gotten
Star
correct.
Trek.
I haven't
was on
got
Star
that far.
Trek. Yep.
They really
that what-
were pushing boundaries.
They
at the time.
broke.
Is that season
Yeah.
2 or season 3?
I don't remember.
The original. I know it's original series. That's much I know. I haven't gotten it.
Okay,
Well, it's
so
got to be 2 because I don't think there were 3 seasons.
correct. So there's only 2.
Okay.
So, what did you guys think about the idea that Doza kind of gave up control to Captain Pyre? I mean, or
Well,
Commander Pyre. and-
Doza is an idiot because he's like, oh, I can give this to them and I'll just say I can take it away later. It's
Right.
my station and all these things. To believe that is ridiculously naive because it's very clear by the end of the second episode. He's kicked out of his own office.
Right.
So
They're
they
not
can
going
have
to
a
give up
meeting.
power.
He's lost power there now. They've come in and they've taken control, and it's like he's supposed to be a leader who's built this.
Right.
You know, I think he'd be a lot smarter.
You would think, but there have been dumber leaders in the world too who've
Yeah.
done the same thing. You know?
I feel like they paint this story with very broad brushstrokes.
Yes.
There's a lot of very general things that happen that kind of just lead to the next thing, and these characters don't have the depth they should. You know, Doza is the conflicted leader who wants to protect his base, but, you know, and my family's here. And it's like, that's it. That's his character trait, and they don't go anywhere else with it. And Kaz is the bumbling, you know, smart aleck, thinks he knows it all, constantly learning a lesson, but only to be the same next week and doesn't advance at all.
And then you have
They're all character tropes that aren't evolving, and that's why I'm.
who's the green guy on the show? It proves how much I have one.
Oh, Niku.
and Nico's a psychopath, just
Yeah,
hiding
he's
in
the
the
only one.
back.
He's the only one who's evolving because he's turning into a psychopath.
Well, I mean, he went from being bumbling idiot to complete psychopath
Yeah.
now. Like, hey, bring the First Order into our bay. Great idea. I'm like, what?
I'm going to shock this person
Right.
to unconsciousness.
Right.
Let me help you get back to sheep.
the crazy things he's doing, and like the almost with like, I want to say he's completely oblivious to the things he's doing, like the effects of them.
I would love for the last episode Niku to suddenly start talking normal and he's the spy.
Or he was a First Order spy.
Yeah, it was all an act. That'd be so awesome. If they
It would
pulled something
be
that big. But
He Snoke's spy.
So going back to the first episode, we'll get to the second one in a second. What about the idea how they got rid of Sonara? The idea that there's these escape pods at the bottom of the ship
well,
in the ocean.
there happened to be one left.
So first off, my first question is, what the heck happened to the rest of the escape pods? Where did they go?
When that giant sea monster appeared a couple episodes back, a whole bunch of people went, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. Wow. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like,
Yeah, I get
and then I'm
that.
sitting here thinking, that doesn't
Okay.
make me feel safe if there's not enough escape pods for
How
everybody.
stupid is the First Order? If the first thing they don't do when they get there, when they want to keep people,
Is
is
get
go
rid of
down
all the
and
escape pods.
guard that area
Or
or
lock-
something.
lock
you know,
the
lock
escape
it off.
pods.
It's like
Heck
it
with that,
seems
I
like-
would have ejected every escape pod. Then you don't have to worry about it. They're gone. Bye-bye.
And this whole episode is a series of people running around, you know, Kaz constantly like listening in on her and just behind her and should have been seen 10 times and walking into a wall and making too much noise.
knocking over crates.
we need some sort of a distraction. Okay. Psh, and he lets
Yeah,
steam
Niku,
off,
and then
runs
just
around
starts
going,
running,
ah!
And it was a bunch of just running. Stormtroopers couldn't stop anything.
Or hit
Oh
anything.
my God! There's two people trying to run from you. You'd think you could shut that down. And they get even stupider in the second episode.
Although I will give them credit in this episode, the one thing they did right when they knocked the storm. Oh no, that's the next episode. We'll get to that one.
Okay.
I'll talk about that one. That one had some things where I was like, okay, I got some things right on it. But
Well, I kind of
this one I thought was completely ridiculous.
The only problem I had with this episode is they got rid of the only character that was interesting.
Sonara.
Right.
Yeah.
She
I
was a
agree with you.
conflicted, she changed. Think about how much she changed from the
From the
couple
beginning we
episodes
met
we
her.
saw her.
Right.
She's someone who is kind of interesting. Yeah,
I
agree.
actually wanted her to become part of the resistance. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted her to join.
I think we're going to get more of her from the pirate side. I think she's not going to be happy with what the pirates do. I think
so?
I have a feeling that Kaz got to her is the whole point.
Yeah, I kind of got that from the ending, and then getting hit with the door.
And then maybe later on, when they need the pirates the most, she talks to the pirates into maybe helping.
They might come and help because they got betrayed by the First Order now. So now they're like mad at the First Order. So
right.
it's, yeah,
so it could go the other, swing the other way. I get what you're saying. So the second episode is the one that was just like, what is going on?
It was a bumbling slapstick
I was
comedy.
gonna say both of these episodes felt like a Looney Tunes cartoon that just had a Star Wars face.
Again, I almost wonder if you took the Benny Hill theme and muted the episode and just played it while you played the episode as the sound, if it would actually sound much better when it's all said and done.
Well, let's start off with the way the stormtrooper tries to kidnap or take the kids and gets knocked out by slipping on a flying shrimp.
Yes.
And banging his head into a railing.
Well, first off, everybody didn't know. Like, there were these stupid creatures
It
all
looked
through
like
these
a
last two
fish
episodes.
with wings.
No, I'm sorry. They look like a shrimp with wings. So when
they
you
look
watch
like a
it,
big catfish.
tell me that it doesn't look like a shrimp with wings.
Well, it does. It has the bendy tail and the
Right.
legs on the bottom.
Yep, I'm telling you, it just looks like a shrimp with wings. And the fact that they're fishing for them in the air, which I was like slightly confused
brings a new
by,
meaning to fly fishing.
right?
We also
And-
haven't seen these at all until
Until
these
those two episodes.
And now all of a sudden they're
it's
everywhere.
yeah.
You turn the episode on, the first thing you see across the screen.
I know what it is. It's a Loth flying fish.
It is a Loth flying fish.
Yes.
Actually,
It's from Lothal, but it got moved here.
It's a baby of the space whales, but it can't
There you
travel
go.
by light
There you
speed
go.
yet.
Yes, yeah. It's a Loth shrimp. There we go. That's what it is. It's a Loth shrimp. Yeah.
It's not
Well,
native.
they're not on. What is this planet's name again?
Oh, I don't even know.
We don't care.
I've never paid attention to that.
It's a colossal shrimp.
It's not native to the planet, so it's a parasite.
they're shrimping, and they catch a couple of shrimps. And you're right. The one thing that knocks a stormtrooper out is sliding one under his foot, because apparently there's no treads on their boots at all.
Well, that's because Bubba was throwing the shrimp at him.
Right.
Shrimp company.
And as if that's not bad enough, apparently the helmet doesn't protect your head at all either. You can hit a pole and knock yourself out, and that's all.
So
good.
here's my next question: these two little kids
Yeah.
somehow move this stormtrooper and hide him
Right.
in a bin, a bay somewhere, in a door behind a door. It's like, how did they do that?
The same way Kaz was able to grab hold of his foot and pull him out of that room.
Yeah, right.
Stunk.
Well, my
Stunk.
favorite point of the episode was when they're carrying the guy without the armor on, and one guy's got his legs and BB-8's got his like upper body, and it just looked like a like I'm
He's
like,
all
what?
bendy and-
He's all bent up and crap. I'm
Oh, I
like,
love that the guys.
I wanted to say when he came to, he's got to be sitting there going, why does my back hurt? Why is there an antenna up my rear end right now? And what the heck, you know? Like, it's just there's got to be a bad
The
day.
best one of the best things that what's the green guy again? I'm forgetting his name.
Niku.
Niku did was he wakes up after getting knocked out the second time by Niku, and he's dazed around. And he's like, "Well, I feel tired. Let me put you back to sleep." And just zaps him in the back and knocks him back out.
And that, you know, that's where you like start to see the psycho side of Niku show through. Like he knocks first. He didn't knock him out for the first time, right? The girl hit him with the wrench.
No,
first.
it was Niku who hit the wrench because
Niku
he said
hit
he
him
didn't
with
want
the
to
So
wrench.
die.
Niku knocked him out both times.
Yeah, Niku
Okay,
had
so
been
we have seen Niku's
beating this
completely
guy up.
psycho side.
Like Niku's done nothing violent until this episode.
Hey, Megatron.
Oh, then we got that stupid scene where they tell Niku she needs to get away, and they spend about a minute and a half of them standing in a hallway with Niku going, "Well, you could, no, but maybe, no," and and not understanding them and all that. It was like, I know they're trying to go for comedy, but whoever's writing this does not have a sense of comedic timing.
No.
It didn't work. It was just dead video for like a minute.
And part of me sits here and says, even if it's a kid, they don't get kids comedy because kids don't laugh at stupid stuff like that. That's not even dad slapstick humor anymore.
They take the pillow, they wrap it around their face, and scream. That's really the answer with that entire 5 seconds of airtime.
You know, one of the things I was kind of upset about was we saw the Teenage Mutant Elderly Turtles again.
Oh yeah.
Right?
The senior citizen.
The senior citizen turtles that Gary loves here at the end. But they played like no role in this episode. It's like why were they there? Like you could have actually used them. Like I actually think they could have been a nice tool to use, maybe to add some sort of depth to the story, but they decided, nah, we don't need to do that. The comedy's already great. It's all good.
So then Kaz has this brilliant idea. Tell me this isn't genius. I'll put on the uniform. No one's gonna know I'm not a stormtrooper, even though I don't know any of their codes or communications or schedules or where I'm supposed to be. And I'll just wander the station until I happen to find out information that I can erase. What? It only makes sense again on a kids show, not thought through level.
And when you're going and you do a report. Well, you see, we did some bad things, sir, and like
we didn't win because we lost.
Like if I were Commander Pyre, I wouldn't have even tried to have him redone. I would have like throw this trooper over the side. He's done.
Throw him overboard.
He's broken. We can't fix this one. Kill him.
Well, that's like the thing. They're gonna reprogram him. So now I'm like, okay, now we're Winter Soldier. We're reprogramming people.
Yeah, but did you not pay attention during The Force Awakens? That's what they do to people. That's how they created their soldiers.
Oh, I thought it was cloning process.
No, that's why Finn was the way Finn was. They reprogram people. But the thing they admitted to in the movie is the reprogramming's not like the clones where it stays with them their entire life, and they keep having to redo it every once in a while.
Isn't that what Phasma says to him? A report
report for reprogramming,
or something like that?
So, and they talk about it a little bit.
And that's why Kyle turns to the Hux and say, maybe we should clone an army again.
Right. Okay. Because they're taking normal people and they're programming them to be First Order troopers.
Well, either way, I just kind of felt like, okay, we're doing Winter Soldier thing, okay. And so this chase scene ensues. We're running through hallways again. He's running in trying to call people.
Where the stormtroopers aren't shooting.
They took a couple shots.
They took a few shots, but they missed.
But again, I go back to your thing about blocking, right? This whole episode from point A to point B, all the way to point XYZ at the end, the blocking was awful. Sometimes I kind of felt like correct me if I'm wrong, art person, the forced perspective in the drawings sometimes were really off too. Am I wrong in that?
It was a little weird. It was the camera angle.
So the camera was in the wrong spot. Like it wasn't covering what was actually going on, which was really weird. It's a cartoon. You know where the camera is because you're drawing towards it.
It's like someone was trying to be creative in their filming, but isn't a cinematographer. So
right,
it got weird.
Like they don't understand how film works, and they decided to draw it that way. And then there's the weird moment. Maybe the only good comedic moment the whole time, where the First Order troopers walk down the hallway and Tora looks out the door, and one trooper stops and goes, and waves to her, and she's kind of like, huh? Like, and actually, of course she doesn't know that it's Kaz,
but that's going into the meeting where it's like, okay, we're now going to take over this base.
Actually,
more troops are inbound.
I think my favorite comedic moment out of all of these was when Niku popped up out of the floor and Kaz goes, I can kiss you, and Nico goes, I'm sorry, Kaz, I don't feel the same way about you. That one actually, I was kind of like, okay.
Which I go back to too. Okay, go ahead. So good, great.
Big yellowhead chicken there.
Yeah.
Well, okay, he was the best running gag. He was the best running gag.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
He literally was the only part of the episodes that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Like every time I saw him appear, I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? I got interested.
That was actually the one thing that kept me awake. Like I was like, where are they going to use him next?
So we get to the first episode where he's cleaning the floor with the floor cleaner because we forgot to mention it, and they come and take his floor cleaner away.
We did mention it.
I thought. Oh, sorry.
I mentioned that.
So
I mentioned the trash can.
Yeah,
okay. I didn't follow.
The elevator.
So
I want to know. There was no subtitles. I want to know what he was saying in that elevator. He was complaining about something.
You might not want to know. I do want to point out, though, in this episode, and a little bit the last one, but most of this episode, why do they never, ever, ever check the floorboards in anything anymore. I mean, seriously, you would have thought after the Millennium Falcon incident, 2 or 3 times over now between Rathtars and the Millennium Falcon, that you'd be checking floorboards everywhere. But no, we leave the floorboards be because that's where the good guys hang out. That's what they do.
I was going to say, you'd think with all the things that happened in Clone Wars where that's up in the air ducts and down into the floor, somebody would have figured that out as a smuggler's secret.
I've already decided if I were to ever take over a city, like to attack a city, right, I'd start in the sewers. Because everybody runs in the sewers in every movie you ever watch, right?
Have fun with that.
Well, I mean, come on, wouldn't you? Like, attack the sewers first and then come up.
Here's what the first
because they have nowhere to go.
Here's what you have to do if you're the villain.
But first of all, there,
sorry.
Bob, when you start going into the sewers, you gotta fight the Ninja Turtles.
This is true, but I'm saying
And you're gonna lose.
if you
Unless you bring a bunch of pizza with you.
Thank you. I'm saying if you can beat Splinter and the Ninja Turtles, the rest of it's easy.
So
I mean,
these are actually the senior alien engineer turtles.
Yes, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
If we have to name them. Senior alien
Engineer turtles.
Senior alien engineer turtles.
Oh my god.
Star Wars power.
Now, when you do your drawing contest, I'm gonna bring that up. You'll probably be the only one that knows what I'm talking about.
I know. I'll be sitting there going, no one gets this reference.
Go listen to Galaxy episode number
232.
232, and you'll get it.
Okay, so was there anything
we haven't really even
redeemable
talked
about
about
this?
the stories.
I was about to say, was there anything redeemable about this story at all, in New Trooper at all? I mean,
Everything was so heavy-handed. Their storytelling methods are, and I know people are going to say, well, it's aimed at kids. You can tell better stories than this. Shows like, Avatar: The Last Airbender and other things. They prove that you can do serious storytelling.
Ben 10 Alien Force. I mean, when you look at some of these shows, they have
even
great
things like
storylines.
Steven Universe that has this long-running storyline that has all these people following it and stuff. There's stuff out there that, or Gravity Falls.
I was going to say, it had Gravity Falls, or
you could compare it to some portions of Clone Wars. Some episodes of Clone Wars.
Well, Clone Wars was decent. Clone Wars was the last good animated show we had.
Right.
Rebels was like
hit or miss.
Hit or miss, mostly miss, and then. Now we're getting to this, which is like I'm struggling to find good episodes.
Yeah,
it's just not good.
Well, I was about to say the other show that had pretty decent storytelling is, and it's crazy, but you'll agree, Gary, is Rick and Morty, right? Like, I mean, that's intended for kids, but it
that's
not
intended
for kids. That's intended for adults.
Well, I'm telling you right now, kids watch it.
Well, yeah, but the fact that
they shouldn't.
Half the things Rick says are beeped out. Morty, I can't. Morty, you gotta listen to me. Oh, jeez, Rick.
That's a really good voice.
I've been watching the show a lot lately. My favorite part, though, I just saw the episode. Show me what you've got. Flying heads.
Okay, so
sorry.
There's nothing really to talk about story-wise. That's why I really haven't brought it up all that much.
Here's the entire story.
There's nothing to say.
He helps, what's her name?
Escape,
who's a pirate.
Sonara.
After some running around, and there's no consequences because none of the stormtroopers catch any of the people involved. And in the second episode, they torture, knock out multiple times, and transport around a clone or a stormtrooper. Learn a little bit of information, the fact that the First Order is going to send entire garrisons or whatever to the Colossus. And again, no consequences, don't get caught, and that's how it ends.
Right.
So it's like, that's it. I just summed up an hour's worth of storytelling.
That could have been done in 10 minutes of any episode.
Everything was comedic, badly done filler.
Yes.
Now that's his point of view. My point of view is that the First Order does not like janitors.
They don't. You're right. Bird-headed janitors just
or
take them off.
At least they feel like they can clean the floors better themselves because they take your floor machine and use it. So.
They took it away from them. That's all it was. You want to do it? Use a scrub brush.
Here you go.
Okay, so I hate to say it, we got to rate this one. So 0's a don't bother, 10's a must see. Do we want to do both of them together?
Yes.
As one
You
rating?
want one giant score?
Yeah, because
Okay.
they're kind of connected. You can make them.
Okay, all right.
I'll go first.
Go ahead, Gary.
I give it a 5, and only a 5, because of the bird-headed guy.
Because he's in 5 scenes?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. I was actually going to dude, I was going to give it a 3. You were being
I was
generous.
with Dad on that.
I was saying 3 because, quite honestly, there's not a lot. I was sitting there thinking in my head going, what are some of the good things that happen? I could only count 3 good things that really happened, and that was we finally get a chance to see Sonara be forced in a position where she's got to make a decision, and she decides to take off, go join the pirates. I hated to see her go, but I mean, at least she had to deal with that issue. So that was one positive I saw. The second positive I saw was we finally heard a stormtrooper helmet get hit, and not hear a punching sound, but an actual metallic, like, wow, they thunked a helmet sound. So for once, thank you, sound guy. You got it right. You're probably the only one that's done it in the last, 6 years of Star Wars cartoons, which I've never understood. And
even Rogue One.
Right, all the way back to Rogue One, you're right. The third, and Gary brought it up, the third one was the chicken dude. Like, he was interesting. There were little things like that kept me, but that's the weird thing. It was the background stuff that kept me interested. I could care less about Kaz, Niku, any of those characters at this point. If the whole platform blew up right now,
and sit there watching
they
them burn.
danced on the bodies of everybody there, I'd kind of be like, okay, the show's over, let's move on. I would not be upset in any way.
I would for the chicken bird.
The chicken bird thing? Yeah.
Yeah,
my only hope there is that maybe all the way back from Rebels, the one A-Wing pilot would show up with the spiders that would come up out of the ground.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome, right? Like, they won the day. That's how he wins. Yeah. So Eric,
that's how this series needs to end on season 2. Is platform explodes, bodies in the water, smoking rubble,
and the
a
Birdman
lone
survives.
ship flying away. Cut to inside. It's the Birdman. Takes off his mask, hits a button. A hologram of Snoke appears, and Birdman goes, "It's done."
Yeah.
And that's it. Credits roll. It's finished show.
That's a wrap.
And everybody else goes, holy crap!
It was that guy all along.
I'm also a 3.
Okay.
The episodes, like I said, I in 2 sentences conveyed all the story they told, and everything else was just childish filler. It was badly plotted. It was badly timed humor. It was horrible action and visuals and choreography. The visuals of the animation I like. I want to see the animation more.
I agree
like
with you there, yeah.
It's got texture. It's got some cool things.
The water
but,
looked great at night, right?
The
Like,
ships are neat, but
yeah.
heck, what happened to the aces? The aces were going to be so important to the
Right,
show.
they're
All those
just-
characters and all these things. Do we know anything about the guy who used to be a TIE pilot?
Nope.
Nothing. We're 14 episodes in. I don't know anything about the aces, which is the important part of this racing platform show. It really just, it feels meandering. It's like every week they figure out, oh, here's where we're going to go next. They don't have a plan. And to top it all off, we finally realized what the big First Order's plan is. We were hoping something cool was going to be happening.
Yes,
oh,
right.
the platform's got some important thing. There's cloning under it. There's something. No. It'll be a good stopping point for refueling.
Fuel.
There
Yet
you
again,
go.
it's back to fuel.
We are strategically important because of our location. Not the fact that, oh, there's an entire planet here. They can do it on the other side of the planet and just
Right.
ignore the platform. No, it's this platform is extremely important for refueling. It's horrible. It's just, they're not thinking it
They
through.
don't want to waste the money building a platform, so they'll
Right.
just take over the one. I'm actually going with the 2.
Okay.
The plot can be summed up very simply to 2 sentences, very simple. Eric, I swear you could throw 3 Stooges sound effects of them running away during the running sequences. I really seriously want to do a dub of that just to watch it. Aside from that, the plot was very boring, except for one thing that saves it from being a 1, the Birdman.
Okay. You know, I was thinking about this as we were all talking. A lot of my friends were saying, oh, it gets better towards the end.
I'm depressed.
I'm starting to wonder about my friends. Like, do I need some new friends?
Yes.
So, like, the ones who were watching this saying, it was getting better towards the end, I'm going, where? When? Which?
I was going to say,
we're getting towards the end. There's 4 to go, 5 to go.
I like
and
how
I'm still sitting here going, wait, where's the good part? I still haven't run into
the
it yet.
stormtrooper said there was an uprising on the platform, and it was 6 characters throwing fruit at them in a semicircle.
Right. That was an
and
uprising.
they stood there shouting back at them and eventually stunned a couple of them.
Also, curious question.
Why?
Wouldn't the fruit explode and stain the helmets of the troopers?
No.
No?
That's really your argument right now? That's your concern? I have so many
When
other...
the plot
I'm
is
sorry.
that boring?
I'm sorry, I have so many other concerns. That's like a
Okay.
you know...
Awesome. The guy hit his head on a railing. He
right.
got himself knocked out. How is a fruit going to explode on that helmet?
Right.
Because it hits it and just goes splat?
I go back to, it's a military helmet. It's doing him a lot of good.
Think about
isn't it?
how many stormtroopers got. We saw at least 4 times stormtroopers get knocked out by getting hit on their helmets.
Right?
No.
There was the first guy hitting the railing. There were the 2 who were chasing after
Yep.
Kaz,
Yes.
and then the pirate girl knocked them both out from behind.
Yep.
I
And
love
then
the falling
there
of
was
those
the same stormtrooper who hit his head getting knocked out by Niku with the wrench from a single hit in the closet. It's 4 times you hit them on the head. They knocked
So
out.
really what's happening here is they have a wrench control problem instead of a gun control
That's
problem.
true. That's true. But
Yeah.
but the First Order helmets suck worse than the Stormtrooper helmet.
You're right.
Because the guy hit his head in the Death Star and he kept on walking.
Yeah, he was okay.
Yeah.
Although I am very seriously concerned about that First Order trooper. He definitely showed signs of either post-traumatic stress disorder, which he might be part of, or he might actually have a concussion.
And as a
Brain
teacher,
damage.
And he was tired, and you definitely don't let somebody fall asleep when they've got a concussion. I was
Apparently-
kind of disappointed in
but
But
Niku.
apparently, I was going to say, apparently stunning them is an answer, right?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
So I can't believe we're talking about it this way, but this is the way we're going to end the episode.
So what's the next
So-
episode we gotta listen to, or what?
We're going to listen to through our eyes the core problem. We have the core problem, the disappeared, descent, and then the finale, 2-part finale of No Escape.
So the core problem is going to be about fuel for the core. The disappeared is going to be about the fuel that disappeared from the loading docks.
And the
Descent is going to
descent
be
down into the fuel.
to find the fuel, and then No Escape Part 1 and Part 2 is how we feel about this darn show.
or there's no escape because we have no fuel.
Exactly. The station's out of fuel. No one can escape.
Guys, can I make you all feel better? I mean, seriously, as we go into our fall, doing our recording, I want to make you all feel better. The Mandalorian is around the corner.
Yes,
I'm
indeed.
just saying that
That's
right
what
now.
we're reviewing.
Well, Bob, all I gotta say is you guys are finally seeing what I saw episodes ago.
Oh, I saw it too. What episode do you call
We
it?
just had.
Can I just say this for a minute? Gary, I saw it too, but I was trying to be optimistic. I'm being serious here. Like, I saw it too, but I was kind of like, I'm gonna try to be optimistic. I'm gonna try to be optimistic.
think
And
it's
as we
so-
went on, I was kind of like, I'm less optimistic. I'm less
It's
optimistic.
so clear that how poorly this is being done, but the fact that they've announced, we're having a season 2, and that's their last season. They've announced it already. This show's only a 2-season show. Even Rebels made it 4?
4.
Yeah.
So
4
it's
seasons.
like this show is like 2 and done. We're not liking it. It's not working. We're out of here.
Well, I also think too the Disney Plus app has made their decisions a little different. You know what I mean? Like, I think sinking money into something like this just doesn't make sense for Disney at this point.
I'm gonna stick a nickel in this show.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't believe we've sunk as much money into it as we have, but
There's got to be some executive in the boardroom saying, "What is this crap?
why are we putting it out there? Yeah, I
What
gotta agree
is
with
this crap?"
I
Yep.
want to. I don't know if we can look them up. I want to see the ratings for episode to episode. I feel like
Well,
it's going to start
okay,
really
if
high
you-
in the beginning
if you-
and distract it.
The site we were just looking at that described him
Yeah.
gave the second episode, the one about the Stormtrooper, a 9.5 out of 10.
But there were only 4 reviews.
Yeah,
Only
it's
4 votes.
And it's going to be, one of them's Filoni.
There's not.
The first one was 9.3 out of 10.
2 of them are Kathleen Kennedy coming in from different accounts.
And the other one's the Birdman. He's actually
The
running it.
other one's the guy who voices Birdman because he wants a job.
And he's like, I finally am on the screen.
Okay, we should wrap this one up before it gets too ugly. So that's what we thought about these 2 episodes of Star Wars Resistance. Head over to our Facebook page and our Twitter account and find us on YouTube or find GalaxyCast.com. Let us know what you think. And just remember, we didn't write these episodes. That's Disney and Filoni. So don't blame us. We blame them. So, as we like to say here at the Star Production Studios, may the Force be with those who listen.
To Jedi Killer Dillian.
To shatter point.
Sorry, I ran out of fuel.
And the Birdman.
Oh, man.
I'm surprised you haven't heard.
Heard about what?
It's a bird.
No, you have to start with like the. It's a very avian form of Norse. What do you mean, pride? No! No.
So I forgot to tell you guys, I did go to Keystone Comic Con, and I got the last.
Yeah, no, you told us last time it was her.
Did I tell you? Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if I told you.
Instead we should have brought Gary's the Zep that's on your thing here and had him sign that too.
Yeah, I totally forgot it was even here.
There was a guy in line who had one, and I'm like, Dad, we should have brought ours. And you're like, I have one.
Yeah, this show just makes me sad.
This is
I
just.
don't remember what they called it.
What?
Hang on. Here we go. That'll probably do it. Yes.
It's so.
They go into a restaurant and they realize the police are coming in to try to find them.
What is this?
The Blues Brothers 2000.
Oh.
So that sets the scene up.
Come on, man, I got a cheeseburger cooling.
Buster, I'm sorry. Now you're going to have to see a bad side of me. Mac, your shaving cream, please.
So none of you is driving the Ford out there?
So they found the car and they're looking for the guys.
And whose dry white toast is that?
Hey, Bob.
My God! Help us! Somebody help us! He's having an attack! It's a puffball bacteria!
Puffball.
It's extremely contagious!
Tell me it doesn't look like Birdman. Okay, it goes back to eating.
Yeah, I've never seen this movie. I didn't
Oh, it's a great movie.
because I love the first one so much.
It's not that great.
I love 2000.
The original's the best.
I'll give you the original is better. But this I think was just as good, man. I really do.
They still make fun of the cops so much in this film, where it's like they fall into like ravines.
But tell me that didn't look like Birdman.
It didn't look like Birdman.
Fine. It didn't look like Birdman.
Tony, tell you.
So that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to show
I
you.
get it. I can see why.
I was itching my forehead.
Okay, that was all in our recording. I'm going to stop the audio now, or video.
Oh,
Sorry. Sorry about that.